Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. On behalf of our host, Colonel Marisol A. Chalice, welcome to today's promotion ceremony. Today we celebrate Major Henry A. Vasquez promotion to Lieutenant Colonel. As in custom, we will observe the traditional ceremony by which a distinguished leader in our Army becomes a Lieutenant Colonel. It is a ceremony steeped in meaningful tradition. We are pleased that you have joined us today in celebrating this special occasion. The host for today's ceremony is the Army Reserve Aviation Command G357 Colonel Marisol A. Chalice. I would like to introduce our distinguished visitors and guests. Brigadier General Retired Roger F. Dion, with today Miss Anna Vasquez, spouse of Major Vasquez, sons Hank Jr. and John, Francisca, mother of Major Vasquez, Liz, Andy, Nancy, Jonda, Michael, and Anki. And welcome to all the guests and Army Reserve Aviation Command and 244th ECAB Brigade teammates. Thank you for your attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem and invocation given by Chaplain Best.
I invite you to pray with me. Most holy God, we gather today to celebrate the promotion of Henry A. Vasquez, who has answered the call to support and defend our Constitution and uphold the values we hold dear. We are grateful for his commitment, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication demonstrated throughout his service. As we witness this promotion, we recognize not only the achievements of the past, but the responsibility of the future. May wisdom guide his decisions, courage strengthen his resolve, and integrity mark his path forward. May he lead with compassion, serve with honor, and inspire those who follow. We especially thank you for his family who stands alongside him today, sharing in both the burdens and pride of military service. Their support and sacrifice do not go unnoticed, and we are grateful for their steadfast commitment. In Scripture, you say to Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." As he assumes the duties and responsibilities of Lieutenant Colonel, may he be granted the strength to meet every challenge, the clarity to make sound judgments, and the humility to learn and grow as a leader. And mostly we ask that you would be with him wherever he goes. In your name I pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please welcome the host of today's ceremony, Colonel Chalice.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, family, friends, and esteemed colleagues, it is my privilege to welcome you all today to celebrate a significant milestone in the career and life of a remarkable individual. Today, we honor a dedicated officer who has shown unwavering commitment, exemplary leadership, and a profound sense of duty as we promote Hank Vasquez from Major to Lieutenant Colonel I know, Hank, you're probably still like, is this real? I know. We all heard it, right? As we gather here, surrounded by the camaraderie that unites us all, we are reminded of the rigorous journey that Hank has undertaken to reach this point. This path is marked not only by personal sacrifice, but also by a resolute commitment to the values we hold dear: integrity, honor, and service to our country. Hank's career in the Army has been distinguished by a series of accomplishments that reflect his dedication and passion. From the very first day he began his basic training to his 23 years of active duty service, and now at the ARAC, he has consistently gone above and beyond in fulfilling every task and mission assigned to him. He has always prioritized the well-being of his soldiers, his peers, and supervisor over his personal needs. This was especially evident when I joined the ARAC last year, and Hank, of course, he ensured that I was ready for all my briefs to OCAR and USAR, and most notably is you were the lead in ensuring we passed all the inspections from the headquarters. So well done, Hank. Hank has demonstrated the leadership qualities that set him apart as a true leader. Whether leading troops in challenging environments, mentoring soldiers, or contributing to mission success, Hank embodies the spirit of the Army, one that values resilience and selflessness. As Hank transitions into the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, we recognize not only the achievements that have led to this promotion, but also the responsibilities that come with it. This new rank will bring greater duties and challenges, but I am confident that Hank will rise to meet them with the same integrity and determination that have characterized his service thus far. In this moment of recognition, we also take time to appreciate the support of Hank's family and loved ones. The journey of an Army officer is seldom a solitary one. It is shared with those who stand behind them, offering strength, encouragement, and understanding. We thank his wife, Anna, his sons, Hank Jr. and John, his mother, Francisca, his sisters, Elizabeth and Martha, and his childhood friend for over 25 years, I believe, Jesus, for the sacrifices and the unconditional love that they have provided. Señora Francisca, yo sé que usted está muy orgullosa de su hijo. In English, that means, Miss Francisca, I know you're very proud of your son. As we proceed with the ceremony, let us celebrate not just a promotion, but a commitment to excellence, a commitment to our mission, to our team, and to our nation. Hank, as you advance in your career and assume more responsibility, know that we stand with you, ready to support you as you lead us into the future. Rise above. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker, Chief Warrant Officer 3, Christopher Balthazar.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and especially Major Vasquez family and friends here in attendance. It's a distinct privilege to be here today to witness this occasion and celebrate Henry's promotion to Lieutenant Colonel. Henry, looking back, 2 E4s, it's kind of like a time warp. A long time ago, 25 years ago, when we first met, and thinking back on it this morning as we're preparing, we haven't been in uniform together, for a long time. So this is a big honor. It's always a great day in the Army when one of our fellow soldiers gets promoted. I've had the opportunity as a 420 Alpha to MC more promotion ceremonies that I can ever remember. I've hosted on a couple of occasions for my soldiers, but this is first and a truly special moment for me to come here and speak about my best friend and brother in arms. When he first reached out to me about his promotion, he asked me if I'd be able to attend and possibly say a few words on his behalf. And I thought to myself, wow, is this guy either crazy or incredibly brave or both? But inviting somebody who has known you since we were both young enlisted infantrymen, is inviting a lot of, funny stories. You're pretty brave, Andrew. But when I started thinking back and preparing my words and what I was going to say, I started thinking back of all the memories and how I first met Henry and all the potential that he had. And it's been a pretty interesting ride from afar to see you and how far you've come. So I will save the roast for your next promotion ceremony. But I'd like to talk about your potential and what I saw in you all those years. So, for anybody who's been in the Army for any time, you may have heard that promotions are based upon a soldier's potential for increased responsibility, some variation of that phrase. Leaders usually make assessments of soldiers, right, from what they've seen in a period of time. But I've had a chance to see you over, 20 plus years. And I was thinking about it, and I've seen him through multiple lenses. I've seen him as a civilian colleague first, a college classmate, a fellow soldier, most importantly, a brother and a friend. I first met Henry in 2002. We were both working for a mortgage company. We were temporarily employees, barely getting by, establishing ourselves in a new city. I'm sort of an introvert, but Henry, he kind of has this natural ability to cultivate friendships, and he kept nagging me, hey, you want to go to lunch? You want to be my friend? He didn't say that, but he has this house-sized personality, right, that just draws people to him. And before you knew it, we became lunch buddies and friends. We worked together, we got to know each other. Then we found out that we were both active duty before, that we were currently in the Army National Guard. We also discovered that we grew up worlds apart, but we had many things in common. We came from small towns, we had a strong sense of family, and a deep feeling of patriotism, and I think that came from our shared love of history. And if anybody knows Henry, he knows his history. I've never met anybody who knows more about history than I do, so I won't try to quote him on anything. But, we had those shared values, right? At the mortgage company, I got to see Henry in action, right? He was a hard worker, he was punctual, eager to learn. He treated every loan that he worked on like it was his responsibility, right? He cared about his customers and his teammates, and he knew that our success as a team depended on how well he performed. Save the funny stories mostly, but there was one event that always kind of stood out to me. At the time, some of these loan officers, they would charge excessive fees and they'd think they could get away with it. They were kind of guidelines. But sometimes they charged some pretty excessive fees. And Henry, he always looked out for the customer. He kind of got into it with the loan officer. And he called us over and he put it on speakerphone and he said, "Can you believe what this guy's asking?" Right? And he put it on mute. We weren't listening to this. And, needless to say, he stood up for what was right. He made sure that the customer didn't get taken advantage of. And, we all found a little humor in it, listening to this loan officer go on and on, right? But at that time, I really realized how much character Henry had, and how he was able to stand up for what was right. Those loan officers were pretty powerful. If you crossed them, it probably could have been pretty costly, but he never backed down. And I knew at that moment that I had found a really true friend. Going forward, we worked 50 plus hours a week. We were also enrolling in college courses together. And there I could see his work ethic, right? I remember often I wanted to call it a day, happy to be with, bees. And Henry, he wanted to keep studying. He wanted to push us harder. And together we managed to get A's during those couple of semesters together. And I thank him for that, for pushing me to be better. All this was right around 9/11. 9/11 had just happened and right before OIF. And Henry encouraged me to reclassify from my cushy 42 Alpha job at the time back to an 11 series and transfer to his mortar platoon. I'd have to say, some friend, right? We thought we were going to go to Iraq, but somehow we ended up on Homeland Security for a year in Dugway, Utah. I don't know if anybody knows where that's at, but it's really, really isolated and pretty remote. While we were mobilized, Henry was the leader of an unofficial team he created, nicknamed TSB. I think it was nicknamed after some of the team members, Thompson, Stidman, and the Bear, to name some old names there. But he dutifully led this team in many events, whether on duty or off. Looking back, it was kind of a joke, this team, right? But these soldiers and myself, we were kind of outcasts. We kind of came from different backgrounds. We didn't have the same cultural background, so to speak. But Henry could have easily ditched us, right? He could have abandoned us and stuck with the crowd. But instead, he always looked out for us. And he ensured that we had a positive deployment and that everybody had a good experience. And so I'll always be thankful for you for that, Henry, and the leadership that you showed at such a young age, right? Leadership comes in many forms. It's not always about rank, right? But it's about standing up for what's right and taking charge. And that was Henry. So I'd say through our many adventures and shared experiences, I always knew Henry was going to be great. He was intelligent, hardworking, and just a friend who would always give you the unvarnished truth. Sometimes unpolished as well, but he's come a long way, a great officer. He had all the talent in the world. I believe he was on track to be a portfolio manager. He probably would have made 10 times more money, but instead he chose to honor the call to service. If you had told me back then that he was going to be a pilot, I probably would have not believed it, if I'm being honest with myself. After all, I've seen him drive. He once had a truck that was nicknamed Crazy Wheels. You guys can ask him the story about that for a good laugh. We'll leave that classified. But he had a vision, and he went back to school, enrolled in our LTC, and worked his tail off. Now, Henry and I, we haven't lived near each other for 20 years. I moved away. He went off and did his thing. He's deployed multiple times, held multiple commands. He's rose through the ranks. But his true character has never changed. He always checks in his old battle buddies. He sends greetings and holiday cards, birthdays, genuinely cares about the success of those around him. In his career and throughout his life, he has truly exemplified the finest qualities of a leader: integrity, courage, and selflessness. He's faced countless challenges with unwavering resolve, always practiced mission first. Henry, brother, I regret that I wasn't there for your first salute all those years ago. It's an amazing honor to be here to witness this and celebrate your well-deserved promotion. So I just want to say I salute you now, my friend. Congratulations.
Major Vasquez, Ms. Vasquez, Hank Jr., and John will now join Colonel Chalice center stage as Major Vasquez takes the first step to becoming a lieutenant colonel.
Publish the orders.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while the order is read. Attention orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Major Vasquez. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted the United States Army from Major to Lieutenant Colonel with an effective date of 1 September 2025 by order of the Secretary of the Army. It is customary that as a military member's rank changes, they also have the oath of office re-administered. At this time, Colonel Chalice will administer the oath to Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez.
Raise your right hand. I state your full name.
Henry A. Vasquez,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
on which I'm about to enter.
in which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the Army's newest Lieutenant Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel Henry A. Vasquez.
First of all, if I can have all the folks who are wearing this uniform, or the blue uniform, please stand up, if you don't mind. Just want to say,
Okay, yes.
but this would not be possible without the assistance of the brigade, the team, the ARAC, and all the folks that are here present to make this happen. So thank you all for your dedication and rendering your countless hours on making this happen. Thank you. So, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. General Dion, retired. Colonel Williams, Colonel Chalice, Sergeant Majors, Noche, Sergeant Major Bond, ARAC team, 244 team, soldiers, distinguished guests, family, and friends who are here, and for those who weren't able to make it. First and foremost, I want to say I am honored and humbled to stand beside you. I could not be here if it wasn't for, honestly, just to begin with. I want to thank Colonel Halter, Colonel Williams, Colonel Green, and Colonel Campbell, and Colonel Woolman for giving me the opportunity to join the ARAC, and General Dion gave me the opportunity to join the ARAC a couple years ago. I would have been disappointed today if it wasn't for your support and the opportunity you offered me by leaving Compo 1 and joining the Army Reserve AGR program. Thank you so much. Although it's been more than 29 years since I raised my ARAC hand and shipped out to basic training in 1996, it feels like it was yesterday. When I rebelled against my parents and joined the greatest army in the face of the earth, the United States Army. Well, as this day approached, I realized it takes a tremendous team to raise every lieutenant colonel and colonel up there. And I am no different. Every one of us who has achieved a senior rank, it started with a dream or a sense of purpose to serve something higher than ourselves. My dream started as a kid after watching classic movies, but after watching the American movie classic 30 Seconds Over Tokyo by Spencer Tracy, Robert Mitchum, and Van Johnson flying the ruptured duck out of the USS Hornet. After seeing that impossible task of those Army crews being launched out of the USS Hornet and what those crews were able to accomplish, I knew I wanted to fly the biggest Army aircraft in combat. And by God's grace, I was able to accomplish that. It wasn't as glorious as the movie depicted, but I knew I had fulfilled my dream in flying the biggest Army, especially the CH-47, both models, Delta and Foxtrot, in the Tall Mountains of Afghanistan. Now let me pause here for a second, because this would not be possible if it wasn't for a friend of mine that just showed up at the last minute. Can I have CW4 retire Robert Marion stand up, please? So Rob, always as usual, you know, if it was an Army rule or an Army regulation that was kind of like didn't make sense, I know you were like throw the book away and make the mission happen. Rob, I honestly thank you for teaching me how to fly that bird downrange, teaching me how to its limitations and all that thing that aircraft can do. If it wasn't for your persistence and you helped me out as a platoon leader, honestly, I wouldn't have had the confidence to fly that bird like it can and must be done. So thank you for coming. Thank you for not always repeating and just surprising me at the last minute, but thank you, bro. Nonetheless, I could not achieve any of these requirements without any trials and tribulations and failures and setbacks I had to endure to get here. With every setback, failure, and disappointment, I always remember one of Churchill's quote, So success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts on. And I've had to hold on to those meaningless words, to those words several times, that they have given me the strength to get up after every time I've been knocked down in my life. I would like to recognize some folks that have gotten me to this point in my career. Without the support and love and dedication, I would not be here. To the most important people in my life, my wife and my boys. To my wife, Anna, Hank, and John, thank you for every day I get to spend with you guys, your amazing support, and for your unconditional love. You are the reason why I get up extra early every Monday morning, cut my hair, sit in my uniform, and start my week right. Baby, everything I do it for the three of you guys. I am blessed to have a wonderful family that is happy to see me every time I come home, and that is worth every sacrifice. I promise you this time, it should be the last 3 years, unlike when we met. I keep on telling you 3 years to string you along. But unless the Army has other plans for me, subject to change, you know. To my son Alexander, who couldn't make it today because of his career demands in Oregon, I understand your hard work and requirements, but I wanted to let you know I'm proud of you, of the man that you are today. May God continue to bless you and your family. Keep charging up that hill, and I know you'll accomplish great things. To my boys, Hank and John, I'm excited and blessed watching you grow every day, and I know you will do great things. Behave, do your homework, read those books like we talked about, and when I retire, we'll get you that photo that you guys want. All right? I put it in writing, so it's happening. Thank you to my parents, Francisca and Reyes Vasquez, who I know my dad today would have been his 84th birthday, and I know he's hearing from somewhere upstairs. Perfect. Thank you for the very strict and loving parents that you were. You and Mom set the foundation for me to survive multiple setbacks. You taught me the meaning of resiliency before the Army ever adopted the term, and that every time I got knocked down, I always had to get back up. You taught us to persevere with the little resources we had growing up, and never rely on anyone or else other than our hard work. That's Mom. That. To my sisters Martha and Elizabeth, thank you for being my older sisters who were always there when I was a kid, and for also wiping half of my butt, as you had to do that when I was a baby. That privilege wasn't granted to too many, therefore I consider you blessed. but seriously, thank you for coming for this event. I could not survive my childhood days without the care you guys granted me, to me and my little brother. And to my little brother who's in heaven, I know he's watching us and smiling at this very moment. Love you, man. To Andy and Jonda and Nancy, and Nancy couldn't be here today because she's sick. You've been like a second parents to me. Thank you for raising an amazing daughter, my wife, who's not only an amazing spouse, but a great mother to her kids, with an amazing career that continues to prosper away from home. Andy, Nancy, and Jonda, thank you for always coming to both of my company commands, my 2 promotions, every significant event in my career, and even coming to the Rock, the Republic of South Korea, when we were stationed there and Hank was born. We will never forget that support that was indispensable to us. Your love and devotion to our family is just astonishing. I could never have asked for better than loss. John and Nancy, thank you for always being a loving mother to all of us and take care of us, especially your grandchildren that you love with affection every time we see you guys, and even when we're not in Nashville. To my brother-in-law, Michael, Oki, and cousin Oki, and Anna's best friend, Russell. Thank you for coming here today. Your presence and support of our family is second to none. Thank you. To my civilian brother, Jesus. Man, what can I say? Praise the Lord, your names. Thank you for being my best friend since 5th grade. Growing up with very strict parents, taught us how to survive anything as teenagers and young men, and the crazy adventures that we went through. Yes. I will always remember and treasure the memories of being locked up in a Mexican jail when we were 16 years old, while partying across the border in San Luis, Mexico, in my dad's truck. Your coolness under pressure and the fact that your uncle was a Mexican lawyer, which I didn't know at the time, was good to know when we were locked up for a few hours. I remember how pissed off he was when he bailed you and your cousin out, And I will never forget that you call him Uncle. My best friend Henry was with us. He also needs to be bailed out. Brother, little did I know that even that would be the beginning of a never leave a fallen comrade behind, and you demonstrated that loyalty when I was just 16 years old. And for that, you've always been my brother for life. After I got home and parked my dad's truck that evening, like nothing ever happened, I didn't tell my parents until many years later, hence the next week we're going to do it again. Thank you, brother. To my friend, CW3 Christopher Baltzar. Chris, we've known each other for more than 24 years now. God bless me for giving me an Army battle buddy when we were both D4s. I was lucky to serve with you during those tough years when we were broke, living paycheck to paycheck, going to college, and being deployed together. Even though we didn't go to Iraq, they sent us to Utah. It was a great time. And we created our own E4 Mafia. Thank you for being my battle buddy during those tough years, especially dealing with our high-speed squad leader, Sergeant Ian Dunlap. He didn't cut us any slack, but with your help, and we're both looking out for each other, that got us through, and we were able to prove our old boss that we could rise above our old E4 reputation. I know wherever he and the rest of those leaders are today, they're very proud of us. We've come a long way, my man. And I'm sorry for drinking your yogurts every time you went on past and leave, and me filling up with water. Your expression after drinking the first filled yogurt bottle with water was an image I'll never forget. Thank you for teaching me how to stay hydrated, especially after a long weekend of drinking all our beers. And when I ran out, busted your beers open by the To Colonel Chalice, ma'am, thank you for hosting my ceremony today. Your perseverance, pioneer example, of relentless duty to folks strong and rising up the chain of command is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for always leading by example, taking care of the gang upstairs, and always standing up for those who don't have a voice. You are an example for us to all follow. Thank you, Señora Dulce, for also joining us today and for all the amazing love you give us without expecting anything in return. Muchas gracias. To my battle buddies, colleagues, and friends at the ARAC, especially the 04 Mafia, well, the 05 Mafia, formerly known as the 04 Mafia, prior to us getting promoted, thank you for your unwavering support, the constant jokes and memes, and all the stuff that we talk in the group that is always sworn to secrecy. I know I'm forgetting some folks, but thank you for those past and present leaders who have shaped us throughout our career. Every single person in our team makes a difference every day, and I hope that I can continue to be of service and assistance to you all. I'm here if you ever need anything. Every day wearing the uniform has been an amazing and rewarding experience. Throughout my 12 assignments on active duty, guard, and reserve time now, I've had great long days and other days filled with tremendous challenges. I love the fact that the Army has for the most part, judges you on your work and how you on your work, taking care of soldiers, and not by the way you look. More background. It hasn't always been easy. However, in those early days of my career, I got to thank my first squad leader, Sergeant David Rule, for making me give a class every Thursday on sergeant's time for a year due to having a broken English accent and telling me, Private, that's not going to work for me. I will make you give classes every Thursday until your enlistment is up, but I'm going to shake that accent out of you. At the time, I hated his guts, but for almost 3 decades later now, I thank him for making me work harder than my peers, operate a few levels above my rank, and ensure I would gain the confidence that no one would ever make that derogatory comments again due to my background on that accent. To the soldiers who have experienced this, I tell you this, do not be discouraged. This happens to some of us. The only way to face the bully is to stand up to them and be better than what they do and ultimately get promoted at the end. Remember, we don't always do this for ourselves, we do it for the name on our left tag and for the generation that will come after us. We work for the betterment of our Army and for every young soldier that will come after us. I've lived by those actions throughout my entire career and will continue to do so long after I no longer wear the uniform. And God bless you all. Thank you for everything. Rise above, Wings of the Hawk, Warhawk 3, continuing to serve, Air Assault, Pool.
At this time, Sergeant Major and the team would like to present Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez with their gifts.
Sir, the whole time, actually, we put something together for you. We try to represent all the long and hard work that when you have been done. The first one is something, the one that says you made it. It says Lieutenant Colonel over here, okay? It's signed by the Secretary there, Secretary of the Army, okay? So here it is, for you. The second one, they will present to you. Actually, it is from when you started as a private, then become a sergeant, and then from lieutenant to now Lieutenant Colonel. Sir, all the units the one you asked on the visit. More important is the 244 that actually made you a Lieutenant Colonel.
Sir, my speech consists of everything on your side, so remarks complete on our part. Sir, it's a true honor, it's a privilege to be able to call you a mentor. You're always looking for a moment to teach me. I know you're trying to develop me as a leader, but not only as a leader, as a person of love. So I really do appreciate it. You push me to a lot of limits. I kind of feel like you're overworking me sometimes, sir, but it's okay. I know you see the potential in me, and I really do appreciate that. So this is a gift from all of us. Put a lot of work into it, sir. Put a lot of ideas into it, okay? I know my wife's probably a little frustrated with all the changes you want to make. But sir, it's just a small token of appreciation, and congratulations to you, sir.
Well, so, I know the 10 patches, I'm sure twice here and twice here, so, but I can't, first of all, I'm speechless. I know, Mrs. Vasquez did an amazing job with that. I'm definitely proud of you. There's Gavin, it's gonna be I know the house is rough. There's like looks like a mini museum at the house. They keep all the stuff at home. But I can't leave because this is pretty cool because from the beginning of time and all the emotions and stuff. So, Chris, there's nothing for it. The actual one we want. Thanks so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song, which the words of the Army song can be found on the back of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's promotion ceremony. Thank you for attending. Please file through the front to congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez and his family. And please join us in the reception at Drill Hall. Thank you.